Once again, I welcome you guys to the Make IT Simple YouTube channel. This video is continuation to my previous video, which is learning about Python. If you didn't go through my previous video, just go through it and come back to this video. I have given the video link in the description section. In this video, I'm going to explain about what is constructor in Python. Let's get into the demo right away. And in my last video, we learned about how to create a new type with the help of classes and how to define the methods or functions inside the body of the classes, and also how to define the attributes anywhere in the program. Now there is a small problem in this implementation. What I'm going to do is I'm just removing it to over here. As I said, there's a small problem in this implementation, which means we can't create the point object without x and y coordinates. Let me show you. I'm just creating an object for the point class, point equal to the class name point, and before we set the point.x like this, point.x like this, just we try to print it. Let's see what's happening over here. I'm not setting the attribute, I'm just trying to print the x attribute over here. See, as expected, it shows like attribute error. Point object has no attribute of x. It shows the attribute error. This is the problem what we have over here, because it is not possible to have the point object without x or y coordinates, and that doesn't really make sense for us, because whenever we talk about a point, we need to know where the point is located. To solve this problem, we have to use constructor. A constructor is a function that gets called at the time of creating an object. See at the line of number 9, see at the time of creating an object, the constructor will get called. And what we do is we need to pass the value of x and y coordinates at the time of over here. Let's say I want to pass the value of x and y coordinates 10, 20. Now this point, what we'll do is this point object that we get here will have its value initialized. So how do we do this? We need to add a special method on top of over here called a constructor. So in the top, what I'm going to do is I'm defining a new function, define definition. How the naming convention will be double underscore and initiate, that's it. And what I'm going to do is here the init is a short form of initialized. This function or method that gets called when create a new point object. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add two parameters over here, x comma y, that's it. And in the body of the method, what I'm going to do is I need to read the values passed over here and use them and initialize our object. So when we pass the 10 and 20, these arguments will be used for the x and y parameters. Now what you have to do is now to initialize our object, we type self dot x equal to x, and then self dot y equal to y. So just I will explain what is going over here. The self, what it's defined over here is the self you see here is the reference to the current object. So back to line 13. If you see it over here, means when you create a new point object, I'm creating a new point object, right? The self references that object in the memory, and also the same object we are referencing over here, right, using the variable the point. So self is the reference to the current object, and also this point variable also reference the same object using the variable point. So yearly what we do is we type the code like this, point dot x equal to 10. Yearly we type like this, right? With this code, what we will do is we set the attribute x attribute of this point object to 10. But now what we have in the constructor is exactly the same over here like this, exactly the same in the constructor. We use the self to reference to the current object, and then we set the x attribute to the x argument whatever passed to the function. So using this initialization method, that is init method, we can initialize our objects, and we refer to this method as a call constructor. This method is used to construct or create an object. Now what I'm going to do is I just remove this line, that's it. Now when we create this point object with this value, now try to print this value point.x. Now let's see what's happening over here. See, this 10 is getting printed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just trying to change the value of x, point.x equal to 11. Now when I try to change it, means then also it will work 11. So in this video I explained about what is constructor and how to define the constructor, and what is the self object. The self means it references the current object in the memory, and also the same object we are referencing in the variable called point. So both hold the same current memory object only. And if you have any doubts on implementing this, just add in the comment section. I'll be very happy to help you guys. Thanks for watching my video.